Hello and happy Monday. I'm Kat Krieger. My pronouns are she, her. And welcome to my solo RPG Monday stream. I am currently playing a solo version of Vaesen, which is a Nordic horror role playing game. Um, I really love this game. It won a bunch of Ennies last year. Um, it's using the Year Zero uh, engine from Free League Press, and yeah, it's one of my favorite role playing games. The solo version, so far, I think today might be the last episode because I think we're close to solving the crime. Uh, I'm finding the solo version personally not as fulfilling as the full game with other people at the table. Part of the appeal of the Year Zero engine is they've got this way that you connect with other players at the table, and that's part of character creation. Like you start off with character connections. Um, Daggerheart is doing the same thing, and I'm sure there's other ones that I'm just not thinking of offhand. But I really love that part aspect of the game because it just adds to the collaborative nature and making those connections. And having played a whole bunch of solo RPGs in the past year and a bit, I think the other thing that I feel like is missing, it's probably the nature of it being a mystery, is that there aren't any writing prompts. And when you look at the rules here, which I will pull up here. Um, It's 8 pages. It's very straightforward. Oh, I forgot to get my cards out. So there's a standard deck of playing cards that you use as an oracle deck of sorts, and it essentially tells you whether or not some information that you get or situation that you find yourself in, whether it's helpful or not. And then you roll mostly D66 to figure out things like keywords and the direction of the mystery is also card based. Um, Clues are the D66. Um, so you sort of like get these little bits of information. Um, but I think I don't know. I'm missing the writing prompts. I think there's like you have to create a direction in your mystery, but you're not really sure what it's all leading towards. So, as I was prepping for this session, I was like, well, here are all my clues, but how do they really all tie together? Um, yeah, and like I my day job is as a freelance writer, and I guess I'm just I feel like it's a bit more of a challenge. So I think for a shorter game, I've only been playing this for like 4 weeks now, 2-hour sessions. Um, I think it's fine. I just don't think I would play this as longer um, a longer game the way that I did with, Delivered or Apothecaria. So that's just my feedback right now. I still love Vaesen. I love the world that it's set in and the creatures and the concepts. The solo game is just I feel like because I've played the full version with other people at the table, maybe I'm a little spoiled. Um, anyway, I'm going to do a recap as we head into an ad break. So so far in the story, so I'm playing Detective Astrid Hansen, who is yeah. So she uses the detective what do you call it archetype, and um, kind of modeled her after Sherlock Holmes. So she does have content warning. She does have a laudanum addiction. Hasn't really been touched upon, and I wouldn't go into a lot of detail just because the nature of my stream is generally like cozy, PG-13. So, she has been triggered definitely during this investigation because the she's investigating a murder, a brutal murder in a town where she was supposed to be having her sabbatical, and she um, on day one, the town vicar came to her with a letter from a mysterious patron, and the patron has since been named Hjalper. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that properly, but it's Swedish for helper, and Hjalper has let Astrid know that there was a murder. Um, the um, local uh, police, the constables, they sort of passed it off as a hunting accident. But as Astrid did further investigation, went to the coroner's office, saw that the victim was a maid um, of a local merchant um, who is not from the area. And this merchant, Reginald Fortescue Esquire, has a butler named Patrick Mulcahy. And so she went to speak with them. It seemed like there was something going on between them, um, and that the butler might have had maybe more control or sway over Reginald. Um, what else? Astrid went to the scene of the crime, which was in a cave in a forest, discovered a bloody piece of cloth, and what else? Oh, there was a wounded hunting dog in the cave, and her hunting guide put it down, euthanized it. And what else? She also heard some rumors about Reginald and Patrick sort of being um, um, I don't know, like there's like a tendency for violence, I think is what the rumor was, and some sketchy business dealings. So as I'm talking about this, maybe there was like um, what do you call it? Like a debt or something. And I'm just realizing that I didn't change my camera over to the transition to the journal. Here we go. Yeah, so I'm gonna just show you again. Like, so we've got a list of clues that you can roll D66 on. You can also get keywords, and then your cards are um, can tell the direction of the mystery, the mental states of the NPCs, and whether or not something is helpful or not, and then the sort of level of helpfulness or dangerousness of the situation. So as we've sort of progressed in the investigation, um, there was so the gunshot and the scene of the dog sort of in the cave, um, that triggered Astrid's like anxiety and panic, and so she went back to her lodgings in town, um, resisted the urge to use her tincture of laudanum, but took a nap. And she was woken up by a knocking on the door, or I think it was a knocking on the door, and then she saw a letter slid under her door. But before she could see who had delivered it, they had disappeared down the hall. It was another letter from Hjalper saying that Reginald's manor burnt down, and at the same time, there was strange weather. It sounded like hail, but when Astrid looked at the window, it was actually a swarm of locusts. And she went outside after the storm had passed, and investigated the locusts, found that some of them had tiny letters painted on their wings, and she eventually pieced them together, um, and it spelled out Hjälper. Um, she went upstairs with the locusts as evidence, and downstairs. Uh, Eventually, there was a commotion, and it was Reginald arriving by coach with his butler to secure lodging. And when Astrid let some time pass and um, went to his room to talk to him and saw a stack of stones outside his door, um, which was very curious to her. So she focused a lot of attention, sort of investigating that, and determined that it was likely made by a Vaesen. So Vaesen are the monsters of this world that only people with the gift can see. Um, they're called Thursday's children, Thursday's child. If you've got that gift, which Astrid does, and she determined that it was a creature called Vater, and they are adorable, but they can also be very troublesome. I will bring up the picture here because I love the art. I think it was 166. Nope. Where are they? All right. What page was that? 158. There we go. All right. So I'm going to bring this up again. Maybe I'll switch my camera times just so you can get a better view here. All right. So look at these little guys. They can take the form of tiny little humanoids that are either like frog-like or rat-like or, you know, maybe even bat-like. Um, as small as rats, dressed in black or gray clothes with an appearance that resembles small animals such as toad, mice, or hedgehogs. So very cute, but they can also be um, quite dangerous, I guess. Like they live very close to humans, and um, they're easy to get along with, but if you, I guess, if you mistreat them, they can curse you. So you can either be enchanted or cursed by these creatures. And it seemed like um, after a conversation with Patrick, the butler, that the these Vater, probably Hjälper, was a good friend of um, Anna's, and it was probably disguised as a rat of some kind, um, because Patrick believed that it was a pet of hers. And and so Astrid went the next morning to the scene of the fire to see what might have happened. She found a bear trap in the smoldering ruins. Basically, most of what was left standing was the chimney, and she did meet Hjälper, who motioned for her to um, get something out of the chimney. And behind a stone, she discovered a little box that had belonged to Anna. It had some of her possessions, including a bunch of gold leaves um, and her journal. And her journal noted that she was a little concerned about what was going on with Patrick, and she was also concerned about the safety of Hjälper. Um, but you know, in the middle of this burned down ruin, um, Astrid wasn't about to read through all of it, so she figured she would go through the entries carefully later to piece together what led to Anna's untimely demise. But then throat cleared, and behind her was Patrick, who, where we left off last, he said, "What if I told you about obstacles?" And so there's a confrontation between um, Astrid and Patrick here that we're going to journal about. So first thing I need to do is write down what time this all occurs. So it's March 13. I imagine there's going to be like, I don't know, at least an hour, hour and a half passing here. March 13. 10:05 a.m. I like being very precise with Astrid. It just seems like something that Sherlock Holmes would do as well. Okay, so I think what I need to do is, we're sort of at the end game here. So I'm not sure that, this is going to take the full 2 hours today that I usually run my solo games, but draw a card to determine how helpful an encounter is. I guess I will draw this. It's not it is. So I drew a 10 of spades, which is very dangerous. Fittingly so, though. What else can I draw here for mental state of the NPC? The current mental state of the NPC. So I'm going to draw 2 cards here. All right, the higher card is the NPC's primary mental state, and the lower is their secondary mental state. So this is pretty good. Highest card here is Ace of Spades. So this says lacks empathy, and then 6 of Diamonds says they're ready. This is very good. I think it makes sense. So we are in a dangerous, just gonna write the words here, dangerous, lacks empathy, and is ready. All right. What else can we do here? We don't need to do passage of time because we're in the midst of this. Keywords. I might just roll some keywords just to see what happens here. So I got a 12 for my first roll, which is banish. $13, house. And then 21, buried. Ooh. All right, so what am I going to do with these prompts here? Well, first, I'm going to give myself some space here. Add a page, and then I'm going to take these prompts and just move them. Banish house buried. I feel like this little Vater is probably going to do some stuff. So I'm going to go to page 158 again. All right. So the helper characteristics of the Vatir, they have might 5, body control 7, magic 8, manipulation 7, fear 0. They also have magical powers of enchant and curse. Let's see. And then I need to find butler, which I think is valet. Okay. It's probably going to be some combat here, which I feel is going to be a little hard to do here. Okay, so I think I'll start with Astrid saying, so he says, what have I told you about obstacles? Astrid. In getting rid of your so-called obstacles, you've made quite a mess. I noted. He spit onto the ashy ground with disdain. Mm-hmm. And he'll say, believe me. There won't be any of you left to clean up. When I'm done here. So I think he probably has, like, he'll pull out a gun or something, or a knife, but he doesn't have any great combat skills here. So going to let's see. I'm gonna see if he's got stealth. 45. Just looking at all of his actual abilities here, and I don't think he's really got. I think I might need to change who he is. Or maybe he's just not gonna survive this observation. All right, well, he's gonna make he's gonna try to attack, even though he doesn't. That's not a skill of his. He doesn't have ranged or close combat. So he's gonna lunge out at Astrid. Oh, he does have 2 physique though, so he. All right. Sorry, this is just an odd thing to be. I don't know, the combat against my own character. It seems a bit odd. So he's attacking, and I can use my agility to evade these attacks, and I just have to go back to first page here because I don't recall. Oops. Show keyboard. Agility. I have 1, so I have to beat a 6. And I got a 6. Okay, so dodge out of the way. 37. Just then, he pulled out a weapon and fired it at me. Thankfully, maybe not thankfully, as I expected, such an action on account of his obvious mannerisms. I was able to dodge out of harm's way. And then I think the Vater is going to make an attack here. So the Vader has something called body control, and I don't know what that is. 121. It's used for evading attacks, chasing, fleeing, stealing things, sneaking, or detecting someone who's sneaking. Okay, that's not it. Magic is probably what it's going to do then. Magic 8. Yeah. Used for casting or resisting magical powers. So I think Helper is going to attempt to curse Patrick. And I just need to find out how I do that. Curses 1, 16, 15, 16, and 19. Okay. Okay, curses may include deadly cold force, the character struck by extreme cold, enthrall, controls your actions, fear, feast, urge to party, fire, catches fire. Oh, that's probably the one. Okay, let's go back to later. Almost have a tea spill here. All right. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, so the Vaesen gets 8 dice to roll here. And to resist, I don't know if Patrick's gonna make it because his stats are not great. Um, 166. There we go. Where are we? Can try using his physique, I guess, to dodge. He's only got two dice here, so I think Patrick is going to be kind of on fire here. So I'm just going to try to get on this dice set. I wasn't expecting to have to roll this many. All right, I've got 2, 4, 6, 8. Like I'm rolling it, but like there's like no way that Patrick, I don't think, can defeat this. Like 5, 6, there's 10, 15, 3, 4, 5, 20. So Patrick has to beat 20 with only two d6s, which is not possible. He got an 8. All right, so Patrick is on fire at this point. Okay. Let's see. So Patrick is on fire. Let me just let's see what we're gonna do here in the journal. Okay. Voice that's startled. Squeak. Hamper. Gosh. Yelp. Power. Unleashed. powerful magic in my head. Suddenly, Patrick's arm, arm jacket, sleeve caught fire, and he dropped his weapon. Um, I, as he attempted to put out the flames, I picked up the weapon and I think Astrid is going to have to make some kind of skill check here. She's got like manipulation. Let's see what focused is here. I can't remember what that skill is. I think that just affects other things like investigation. 53. Focus. Ignores penalties from conditions and making investigation tests. Alright. I don't know. I feel like this combat, he was greatly outclassed here because this Vaesen is tiny but powerful. So I think just roll with the one manipulation, 3, and Patrick has what here? What are his skills again? Mental. Alright. He rolled a 7, so he's not convinced that Astrid is going to be able to use the weapon against him. As he attempted to put out the flames, I picked up the weapon and firmly and firmly told him to give up peacefully. He refused and took a swing at me. Even as the fire spread. Alright, so he's gonna make a physical attack. Hello, the living noodle. I'm doing all right. Thanks for coming into chat here. Um, so I'm playing Detective Astrid Hansen right now. She's in the middle of combat, um, and I don't know if you let me know if you played Vaesen before, but this is a solo version, and I'm finding it a little. It's the first combat that I've done in this game, and I'm finding it a bit of a challenge. Like basically, um, running all sides of the party here. It's not like just being a GM for other people. Like I'm managing the NPCs and myself in this combat, so it's a little interesting. Um, and so far, Astrid is trying to apprehend a butler who she thinks um, murdered the maid. There's a Vaesen here, which is a um, it's the monsters of this world. It's called a Vater, and I want to show the picture because I think they're adorable, but they're clearly very deadly because in one magical instance, this Patrick character is on fire at this point. So these are the little creatures, and they were friends of the murder victim. Well, this one creature was a friend of the murder victim. His name is Hjalper, which is Swedish for helper. Um, so yeah, work with a combination of the characters and the plot. Yeah, this so usually in solo RPGs I found we just there's like prompts and then you just resolve it that way. Um, yeah, and right now because because it's separate solo rules for the full game. Um, it's a little different. I feel it's a tiny bit clunky um, in this regard. Um, in a game that I love, like I love Vaesen, um, as a playing at the table with other people. Um, and I've just found that this one was just sort of like, well, all you've really got are keywords and um, positives or negatives, and I get it because it's a mystery and you don't want to like spoil it for yourself, but at the same time, um, it's there's just a little bit of clunkiness because it's even the clues that I've been finding are just like, well, what is this all actually leading to, and how are some of these clues going to tie together? But we are in the midst of combat right now. Um, Patrick is refusing, even though he's on fire right now. So he's going to attempt to attack again. Um, hopefully, he'll just be able to resolve this quick here. But you're coming at the very tail end of a few weeks of story here, and I think this is going to be the end. So um, I might not actually go the full 2 hours. Helps to have a table or 15 to deal with whether or not. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, let me show you the solo rules here. There are a few tables, not enough in my opinion. Um, the direction of the mystery, you've only got like a few of these. And then you've got your some keywords that I like the concept of keywords because it opens it up to a lot of really fun um, um, a lot of fun writing prompts. And then there's like clues here as well. But yeah, I appreciate it. I just think that this solo version is a bit lacking compared to the um, full game. Um, I would love to see like more of an expanded version of this, I think, um, because I think it would be great to be able to run more investigations on my own just to scratch the itch of playing Vaesen. Here we go. I'm just gonna try resolving this fight here. Um, I need to go back to Patrick here. Um, so we're gonna roll um, his attack again. This time it's just gonna be a straight up like physical attack. Oof, got a 12. And I believe Astrid um, only has the one die to dodge. And she fails. So Astrid is going to um, probably lose the weapon here. A clown who owns and operates a train. So does this clown like bring joy to other towns? Like a clown, or is like the a carnival like on the train? Either way, that's fun. He took a swing at me. Um, let's see, surprised. He uh, managed to knock the weapon out of my hand. All right, and now I'm going to roll again for Helper, who is going to again cast this magic, try to curse Patrick. Let's see. Extra successes increase the intensity of the fire by 1 step. All right. Well, I mean, I don't think it's possible for Patrick to actually um, beat these dice. Maybe if I only rolled all ones, because Helper has 8 magic die here, and this is, let's see, 10, 18, 24, 28, and yeah. So there's no way that with two d6s, Patrick's gonna make this save. So um, with that, Helper, gonna add another page here to move some of my keyword notes off to the next page. Oops. To delete. Was that Helper waved its tiny hands, and the flames spread over Patrick's arm. Gosh, how do we resolve this without necessarily killing him? Um, let's see. I think we're gonna try to convince him yet again. This is not her strong point with manipulation. She got a 2. He got a 10. So he's not convinced, even though he's on fire here. Again, I asked that he turn himself in before before it was too late. But he refused. Then he charged at me, and so he's gonna make just like a physical attack. 4, and Astrid got a 6, so she's able to dodge out of his way. But I deftly dodged out of his way. I think she's gonna try a physical attack, just to like kind of subdue him, I guess. I think we'll use agility here just to kick him down. So she got a 5, and in order to resist, he got a 2, so that's good. And kicked him over, kicked him down into the ashy ruins of his employer's manor. All right, I'm gonna see about conditions here, 23 and 24. I feel like because he's like pushing himself, he's increasingly, I think he's probably like pushed up to exhausted at this point. Um, and so Hjalper, I feel like Hjalper, wouldn't have asked for Astrid's help um, unless he wanted. What was I going to say? So Hjalper obviously could have just taken out the butler. So I think Hjalper is probably good-natured and wants, to see justice without necessarily killing Patrick. Um, oh, um, I have not been tracking the damage that's happening on Patrick. So he was not able to extinguish the flames for 2 rounds now. And it's like half of him is burning. Um, so I'm gonna confer advantage on Astrid's next check here to um, convince him to give up. Well, after Hjalper makes the flames go a bit further. And again, this is like ridiculous. There's definitely more than 12 here. So he fails, and Astrid is going to attempt to um, um, persuade him. So she got a 7 and he got a 3. All right, so I'm just gonna close up my book for now. And hello, Jane. You've arrived at the end, pretty much the tail end of the fight here. Um, I'll just reread here. Um, just because it's been quite a process because um, I'm finding I didn't really expect to have like a battle, and unlike other other games where like a lot of the solo yeah, so a lot of the solo games that I played, it's just like writing prompts to do this, and because this is based on the full game of Vaesen, it's I don't know, like I've had to manage the NPC, Patrick, Astrid's in the fight, and also Hjalper, the little Vader. So I will recap by reading in Astrid's voice here. All right, so and then we'll pick up with the very end of the fight. Um, March 13, 10:05 a.m. In getting rid of your in getting rid of your so-called obstacles, you've made quite a mess, I noted. He spit out onto the ashy ground with disdain. Believe me, there won't be any of you left to clean up when I'm done here. Uh, just then he pulled out the weapon and fired it at me. As I expected such an action on account of his obvious mannerisms, I was able to dodge out of harm's way. With a startled squeak, Hjalper unleashed powerful magic in my aid. Suddenly, Patrick's sleeve caught fire, and he dropped his weapon. As he attempted to put out the flames, I picked up the weapon and firmly told him to give up peacefully. He refused and took a swing at me, even as the fire spread. Surprised, he managed to knock the weapon out of my hand. With that, Hjalper waved its tiny hands, and the flame spread over Patrick's arm. Again, I asked that he turn himself in, before it was too late, but he refused. Then he charged at me, but I deftly dodged out of his way and kicked him down into the ashy ruins of his employer's manor. Okay, and so at this point, Hjalper adds more flames. So he's like at level 3 flames at this point. Um, um, to assist in subduing Patrick. helper increased the flames, and finally he agreed to give up. At that point, the magical fire disappeared, maybe just like evaporated. Um, so, to assist in subduing Patrick, Hjalper increased the flames, and finally he agreed to give up. At that point, the magical fire evaporated. I think I'm going to do probably one more journal entry here to just wrap up, like, what exactly happened here, and uh, sort of end the case and piece all the bits together. However, I think I'm going to take a quick bio break. I will be back in 5 minutes, and then I will write my final journal entry in Vaesen. Um, um, and I just realized again I did not. I didn't switch my camera over for my journal. Sorry about that. But I will be back in 5 minutes. Okay. to write the final journal entry here for Vaesen, the solo game, which is called Thursday's Child. Let me just here it is. The solo Thursday's Child solo rules. So I am going to say that it is probably, hi Jane, it's probably the next day, March 14. Say it's like whatever breakfast hour is here for her. 8, 23. So we're going to wrap up with exactly what happened, and I'm just going to mentally go over some of the clues here. So we had Anna Eklund was the maid of Reginald Fortescue, Esquire. Um, she was found in a cave, and it looked like she'd been attacked by an animal. I'm thinking later on, Hjalper, in the ruins of the manor, um, uh, had, had somehow salvaged a bear trap that had blood on it. And I think maybe it wasn't an animal attack. Maybe it was um, like the bear trap, and it looked like she'd been, attacked by an animal. So why was she in the cave to begin with? Well, I think Patrick, who knew about um, Hjelper, at least in the sense that he knew that she had a pet rat. Um, I think he thought that maybe the rat either was magical or was able to steal um, because he found some gold leaves. Um, what does that mean? So he was trying to maybe coerce Anna to um, give him more gold or um, yeah, just like pressure Hjelper to give him something. And let's see what else do we have to tie together here. So Reginald had also been in the cave at some point, um, and said that there was an animal that attacked before he was knocked out. But I think what really had happened was that Patrick had lured her there and knocked Reginald out. Um, so why were they all there together? And what was the shady business that was happening? Um, that the miller in the market was talking about. I think it has to do probably with some debt and whether it's Reginald's debt or um, Patrick's debt. And then Patrick also had some sort of sway over Reginald. I don't know. This is the messiest. This is the messiest RPG, solo RPG I've played so far. I feel like it's because there was not enough structure. Um, Gosh, what do we think, Jane? Um, do we think that maybe Reginald Patrick is not dead. He was on fire, but he gave up. Uh, However, he maybe Reginald owed money, and Patrick uh, found a way to yeah, maybe so. Here's what I'm thinking. Patrick, as a merchant, his business was failing. Uh, Sorry, not Patrick. Reginald, as a merchant, his business was failing. Patrick found out that Anna had this magical resource to get gold leaves, and was able to sort of coerce her into giving him some so that he could lend it to his employer. And that's why there was that weird, it seemed like Patrick had some power over Reginald. Um, but then Patrick got greedy and wanted to kill Anna. And then, um, so he lured her into the cave. Um, and maybe Reginald found out because he maybe, so the butler did do it, yeah. So maybe Reginald um, suspected something was going on, um, or maybe he was tipped off by Helper. Um, oh, you know what? I think Reginald unwittingly, Reginald unwittingly sort of said to Patrick, "Yeah, do what you have to get this mysterious money, right?" And um, didn't realize what he meant. What Patrick meant was he was going to kill Anna for the money. But then when Reginald found out, he went to the cave to try to save Anna, um, um, and couldn't. And then didn't report anything because he was so deeply um, in debt, and had Patrick sort of like in control of him, I guess, in some ways. Like he would have lost everything. Um, so yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna try encapsulating here. Um, all right. Um, Over breakfast at the inn, I spoke with Reginald, and he explained um, what I had begun to piece together, and oops, filled in the missing bits of information. Um, he admitted um, he had fallen into debt, but Patrick had mysteriously come into a small fortune gambling, he had said. It was an odd situation to be in, but Reginald accepted the money in order to keep his business running. Put a strange twist on their relationship as employer and employee. Patrick, in turn, enjoyed some of the luxuries he would not have otherwise been able to. Um, After some time, Patrick said he could obtain enough to um, clear the debt entirely, but wanted um, a stake in the business. Reginald agreed um, that he should do what was needed to make it happen. Exactly, Jane. Do what was needed to make it happen. Shortly thereafter, A strange little rat. Appeared, and Reginald was enchanted, enchanted somehow to follow and read Anna's journal. In it, he discovered Patrick's plan to meet her at a cave and turn over money that her little pet somehow um, somehow created. Oh my gosh, I did it again with my journal. Welcome Monday. Planned to meet her at a cave and turn over money that her little pet somehow came into. Um, knowing Patrick as he did, he made haste to save Anna, but it was too late. He got into fisticuffs with Patrick, but was convinced he was a part of all of it and went along with Patrick's plan to cover up the murder. Um, um, Reginald's hunting dog would not leave Anna's side and went missing thereafter. With that, I handed over the dog's collar and the merchant broke down. For his part, there would likely be very little consequence. But Patrick, once recovered, would face the law. Um, I took my leave and um, and went to pack up my bags. Um, inside my suitcase, my clothing trunk, I discovered a small parting gift from Helper. What should it be? I wonder if there's something in the book. Hmm. Um, what kind of magic item can it be? Magic items 122. Oh, I know what it's going to be because Astrid has that terrible um, history with werewolves. A single silver bullet. All right, so I will read the final entry. Um, March 14, 8:23 a.m. Over breakfast at the inn, I spoke with Reginald, and he explained what I had begun to piece together and filled in the missing bits of information. He admitted he had fallen into debt, but Patrick had mysteriously come into a small fortune. Gambling, he had said. It was an odd situation to be in, but Reginald accepted the money in order to keep his business running. It put a strange twist on their relationship as employer and employee. Patrick, in turn, enjoyed some of the luxuries he would not have otherwise been able to. After some time, Patrick said he could obtain enough to clear the debt entirely, but wanted a stake in the business. Reginald agreed that he should do what was needed to make it happen. Shortly thereafter, a strange little rat appeared, and Reginald was enchanted somehow to follow and read Anna's journal. In it, he discovered Patrick's plan to meet her at a cave and turn over money that her little pet had somehow come into. Knowing Patrick as he did, he made haste to save Anna, but it was too late. He got into fisticuffs with Patrick, but was convinced he was a part of all of it, and went along with Patrick's plan to cover up the murder. Reginald's hunting dog would not leave Anna's side and went missing thereafter. With that, I handed over the dog's collar, and the merchant broke down. For his part, there would likely be very little consequence, but Patrick, once recovered, would face the law. I took my leave and went to pack up my bags. Inside my clothing trunk, I discovered a small parting gift from Helper, a single silver bullet. And that, I think, concludes the case of Anna Eklund's murder. I switch my camera here. Thanks again for joining in this a solo RPG. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to be playing next week. I think here we go. So I just got this. I backed this a while ago. It is called Hokey, a fortune-telling legacy solitaire game. These are done in like very short segments. Says Hokey is a traditional solitaire game with a modern twist. Each attempt takes 5 minutes. Follow the mysterious story and find clues, test strategies, complete challenges, unlock components, transform. Dear reader, if you overcome my challenges, I will teach you to see the future. You will need patience, of course. The game is solitaire. Unlocking the fortune-telling book of sight will take many attempts. Then each successful attempt will tell a fortune. Will you become a seer? No worries, Jane. Like I was saying earlier in this game, as much as I love Vaesen, I found that this was a little bit clunky for my taste, I think. I just think that more writing prompts would have helped. Maybe more tables would have helped. Just based on playing some other of the solo RPGs, there were just moments where it just felt like I know that it's really difficult because it's a mystery and you don't want to like have everything laid out, but at the same time, I just feel like having to do combat was a little bit rough. Maybe I should have just um, narrated it instead of trying to run the combat. Um, yeah, there were just a few things that I sort of like. This wasn't as enjoyable as the full game. I did like the mystery and trying to unravel stuff. It's just I feel like there definitely could have been some more prompts, right? Um, yeah, I just so that's my one feedback for the folks who made this. More tables, more prompts, more keywords. Definitely enjoyed the premise. I love the world, the setting, being able to play the character. It's just, I think there could have been a little bit more added to this to make it a fuller um, um, solo RPG. Because I don't really know about replayability either. I know that there's tons of other Vaesen, but yeah. Anyway, I will be back on Wednesday doing Whimsy Wednesday, um, playing The Last Campfire. Started that last week. It is a very cozy game, probably obviously. However, it's really like emotionally powerful because you are playing a lost amber trying to help um, other lost ambers go to their final resting place. So it's there are definitely moments where it's just like, "Oh my gosh, this is so heavy for such a beautiful, um, puzzle game." So, just be warned. I love it, but at the same time, it was unexpectedly emotional at times, so, I'll be playing that, probably for the next few Wednesdays until I find something else, um Alright, and then on Friday, I'll pick up, with my craft afternoon again. I should be able to do most of my schedule, um, for the next couple months because I won't be solo parenting, again until the end of June. Alright, well, thanks again for joining, everyone, and, I'll see you online or in Discord. Alright, take care.